everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. So as you know that we are doing the discussion for Takkar Rapid series, and in this series we are discussing questions based on current affairs, and these questions will help you to prepare for the prelims exam of this year 2023. So without wasting much time, let us quickly take the first question. Okay. So now this is a new term that has been in news, so that's why we thought of asking a question on this term. It says, with reference to economic activities, the term home shoring essentially refers to okay, so home shoring is a new term that has been in news, so we need to understand what is the meaning of this particular term. So they have given 4 different options, right? You need to go through the options to answer what is the right option, related to home shoring. So practice of hiring workers who work remotely from an external office. As you know, what has happened during the COVID timing, right? Many people, most of the people were not working from office. So most of the people, from the IT sector or some tertiary sector, they have been allowed to work from home. Okay, and now there is a culture of work from home or work from offices that are located away from the main office. So in those situations, this is in general known as home shoring. Means people are hiring people to work from home or to work from, let's say, in their own convenient places. So this is known as home shoring. Correct answer for this question is option A. Right, this is just to make you understand or aware of the new term. So with this, we will look into the next topic. So this is the relevant article that has been in news, so that's why we have thought of asking a question on this. So let's take another question. This question is related to GST Council. Alright, this is related to GST Council, and here we have to identify the correct statements that are given in the question. Okay, so we will talk about these 2 statements. The first statement says there are no members in the GST Council from the Reserve Bank of India. Yeah, GST Council has representation from the central government and from the state government. In GST Council, they talk about various aspects related to goods and services tax. Okay, so it has representation from the government only. Okay, so there is no member that represents the Reserve Bank of India, right? So this statement is correct. Okay, second statement, it says GST Council draws its power from the Constitution of India. Yeah, definitely this is also right. Why? Because we have an article 279 clause A. This article talks about the GST Council. GST Council has been formed because they wanted to have a mechanism of discussion, dialogue and also consultation related to taxation matters in indirect taxes. Okay, so GST, goods and services tax, has subsumed various types of indirect taxes in itself. So this is an umbrella term, and for for sharing of revenues and for let's say resolving the disputes, the government has created the GST Council, and GST Council is going to have a meeting after a span of 7 months. So that's why it was in news. So that's why we have asked a question. So correct answer for this question will be option C. Both 1 and 2 are correct. Okay, this is related to GST Council. So with this, we'll take another topic. Okay, so we have also included the explanation and also a snapshot of the, let's say, news item that was in news, so that in your free time you can go through the document also. This is another question. It says consider the following Ramsar Sites. Okay, so before we take this question for discussion, let us understand what is Ramsar Sites. Basically, we have a convention which is known as Ramsar Convention. Ramsar Convention is an international treaty, and this treaty, this particular treaty is in place to save, right, to safeguard or to protect the wetlands. Okay, to safeguard and protect the wetlands, and also it promotes sustainable usage, right, sustainable utilization of wetlands around the world. India is a signatory to the Ramsar Convention, and also at the same time many of the, let's say, wetlands in India are part of the Ramsar, Ramsar Convention. So, like in India, we have multiple sites, like multiple wetlands that are part of Ramsar Convention. All right. Ramsar is the name of a city which is located in Iran. Okay. I mean, like you may be knowing about it. So here it says, like, consider the following Ramsar sites. Ramsar sites means those wetlands that have been listed, with the Ramsar Convention, under Ramsar Convention. So any wetland that has been listed under Ramsar Convention, so these wetlands need to be protected. I mean, like these wetlands need to be protected. And so these are the wetlands, like, Nawabganj Bird Sanctuary, Haidarpur Wetland, Kanjli Lake, Saman Bird Sanctuary, Roper Lake. Which of the Ramsar sites mentioned above are present in the state of Uttar Pradesh? Okay. So we have understood what do we mean by Ramsar Convention, what do we mean by Ramsar sites, what do we mean by wetlands. Wetlands, I mean, like wetlands are those areas that are covered by, let's say, like flowing or stagnant water. Okay. So a river can be a wetland, then lake can be a wetland, then, like, mangroves can be considered as a wetland. So there are multiple areas that come under the definition of wetland. If you want to know the definition of wetland, you simply search in the Google, you'll get the answer to it, right? So here we need to identify those wetlands that are located in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Like, why they have asked a question like this? Because recently, like, the government officials from Uttar Pradesh have, I mean, like, rushed, like, they have gone to protect one of the wetland. Why? Because, like, they have got news that one of the wetland, there are newses of encroachment and encroached agricultural practices within the wetland area. Okay, so that's why it has been in news. So that's why they have asked question like which of these wetlands are located in the state of Uttar Pradesh. All right. So this Nawabganj Bird Sanctuary is located in Uttar Pradesh. Haidarpur wetland is in Uttar Pradesh, and Samar Bird Sanctuary. Okay, so these three, the first, second and fourth, they are located in the state of Uttar Pradesh. If we talk about Kanjli Lake and Roper Lake, these two are located in the state of Punjab. Okay. These two are located in the state of Punjab. So what you can do is, like, in your free time, you can download the list of, let's say, the wetlands that are located in India, and also, like, you can have a look at it state wise. I mean, like, you can download a, let's say, image also having the name of the wetlands, like, in the map, right? So that, like, you find it easy. So correct answer for this question will be 1, 2 and 4, means option A will be the right answer. Okay, option A will be the right answer. So this is the news item, crackdown on illegal farming in Ramsar site. Okay, so, like, you can read it. Okay, let us take another question. This is again a very good question, like, we can discuss about this question. It says, consider the following statement. All right. So here, like, this question is related to motion of thanks, right? It is related to motion of thanks. What do we mean by motion of thanks? Basically, like, motion of thanks is an address, right? Generally what happens, like, if there are some urgent, there are some important government, let's say, programs or something. So in that case, the President of India calls both the house together. So there is a joint sitting of both the house, and the President of India addresses both the house together, like, on some of the government policies. So after the President has done addressing both the houses, then these houses individually, like, start discussing on multiple aspects related to the President's address, right? And they discuss about various government policies, lot of things. So this is known as motion of thanks. Okay, and so, like, all the parties, I mean, like, being the members of the, let's say, ruling party or opposition party, or, like, some let's say, like, some other parties, like, who are part of the parliament, so they discuss, like, they do discussion that is known as motion of thanks. And like, all the questions that are raised by these parties, these questions are also answered by the ruling party. Okay, generally the Prime Minister of India answers the questions, like, raised in the motion of thanks, and in his absence, let's say, like, he may allow, or, like, any other member of the ruling party, I mean, like, any minister or a member, I mean, like, or a member of the ruling party may, like, respond or answer to the motion of thanks. So this is all about motion of thanks. So like now let us read the question so that like we can answer this question. It says motion of thanks to the president address has been provided by by the constitution. Basically like like we do not have any reference to motion of thanks in the constitution. Okay, so motion of thanks is a customary practice. Motion of thanks is a customary practice in the Parliament of India. Okay, it is a customary practice in the Parliament of India. Second statement, it says under the rules of the house the prime minister replies to the discussion in both the houses. Okay, this is right. So it can be the prime minister or any other minister, or it can be a member of parliament also. Okay, so any of them can respond. So like it is not very strict. The question is says under the rules of the house the prime minister replies. Definitely the prime minister can also reply, right? So second like we need to identify the correct statement. So second option is right. Option B, 2 only is the right option. Okay, so with this like we'll take another question. You see like this was the news item. Prime Minister Modi to reply on motion of thanks in Rajya Sabha today. Okay, so like he was replying to the motion of thanks in the Rajya Sabha. So with this like we'll take another question. Okay, so this question like has lot of information in the beginning itself. It says as an indigenous art form, this dance form has a history going back several centuries, and it attained particular popularity in Peshwa era in 18th century. Traditionally, performances were held in front of kings or lords and for the entertainment of retired soldiers resting during the breaks in fighting. Which of the following folk dance form is mentioned in the above paragraph? Okay, so here they are asking about name of the folk dance form. Okay, so like they have given a hint also. Peshwa era means like it has to do something with the state of Maharashtra. Okay, present state of Maharashtra. Okay, present state of Maharashtra. So like if you go through it, you will be able to identify. I mean people who study about folk dance, folk music, etc. So it is Lavani. Okay, so like Lavani. So Lavani is a folk dance and song, means like it is not only dance, it is a performance like that includes dance plus singing. Okay, singing means dance plus song, and like it is accompanied by percussion instrument also, dholak type of thing. Okay, so why Lavani was in news? Because recently it has been noticed by one of the, let's say like ministers in the state of Maharashtra, that like their party members have been organizing Lavani, and these Lavani dance forms were not being done in a very good manner. I mean like there has been like there has been issues related to erotic scenes. Erotic scenes means let's say like sexuality was being exposed like during the dance form. Sexuality means like some kind of sexual content was there in the dance, so it was erotic. So that's why like it has created controversy in the state of Maharashtra. Okay, so that's why I mean like this was in news, so that's why we have asked a question on this. With this like we'll take another question. You see like what is Lavani and why Maharashtra's folk dance form is in controversy. Okay, so this was the news item. We'll take another question. This is related to science and technology. Okay, it says consider the following statements about Roche limit. Okay, Roche limit. So what do we mean by Roche limit? First of all, we need to have an understanding about Roche limit. Only then we'll be able to answer this question. Okay, Roche limit. So basically like what is Roche limit? Let me talk about it. Okay, Roche limit has to do something with the universe. Okay, with the universe. Let's say like we have one heavenly body like this, we have another heavenly body like this. Okay, heavenly body means it can be a planet. Let's say it is a planet. Okay, and let's say the second heavenly body that we are talking about here is a satellite. Okay, let's say this is planet and this is a satellite. Okay, this is a planet, this is a satellite. So what happens, like every body in the universe has some Roche limit. What do we mean by Roche limit? I'll talk about it. if we talk about this particular planet, this planet has an area around itself, like has a distance around itself where its gravitational influence can be experienced. Generally gravitational thing extends to a long distance. Every other body in the universe attracts one another with a force. Like if you read Newton's laws of motion, you will understand about that thing, right? But the thing is, Roche limit is somehow associated with that and little different also. This concept is little different. So what happens, Roche limit, let's say this is a let's say radius of influence, this is a let's say area of influence, and from the center of the body, let's say this is a distance d. This particular thing is a distance d. So any other let's say body, it can be a satellite, it can be an asteroid. Let's say this is Earth, this is asteroid. So if an asteroid comes under the Roche limit, so what will happen, the asteroid will start burning out. Why? Maybe because of the atmosphere, but basically the Earth's influence, Earth's pull, right? Earth's pull will pull this particular body, and this is because of tidal forces. I mean one is gravitational force, other is tidal force. So this is a body, it also has its gravitational force, but let's say this body has rings also. Okay, let's say this body has rings also. So basically if a body is, if this particular body, let's say moon, is out of the Roche limit, it does not touch the Roche limit of the Earth. If it is out, so it will remain as it is, but the moment it comes under the Roche limit, then Earth will start pulling it, okay, and then it will get disintegrated. Okay, this is the thing. And also what happens, if we talk about the universe, there are many planets, even dwarf planets, let's say, they have rings around themselves. Let's say this is another planet, this is body, it has rings around itself, rings, okay, rings. So all those rings that come within the Roche limit, they remain as rings, but those materials or matter that are outside the Roche limit, what they do, they tend to coalesce. Coalesce means they will come together and they will form another such a smaller body. It can be a satellite to this. Okay, so within the Roche limit, the rings may be there, but outside the Roche limit, it is generally expected that these rings will coalesce, means they will come together, they will form another mass, single mass, like that. Okay, so with this understanding we will solve this question. And also we do have a formula of Roche limit. Okay, so this formula, this d that I have shown over here, d is equal to, okay, d is equal to r to rho m divided by rho small m raised to power 1 by 3. Okay, if we have to identify what is the Roche limit is equal to d, this distance is d, r in bracket 2 rho m by rho small m raised to power 1 by 3. So for this body we are calculating Roche limit. So r is the radius of this body, radius of the big body, this is the radius. Okay, then what is rho m? Rho m is the density of the bigger mass. Rho m will be for this one, rho capital M. Okay, and for a smaller mass, this will be the rho small m. Okay, so rho small m is the density of the smaller body, smaller means the satellite, and rho capital M will be the density of the bigger body in the sense the planet itself. So this is the formula using which we can calculate the Roche limit, right? In different textbooks or different sources, the formula may vary little bit. Somewhere it is 2.4 into the same formula, somewhere it is r into this thing. So we don't have to go into the calculation part, but we have to understand what is Roche limit. Recently Roche limit was in news, right? We will talk about why it was in news, but before that we will try to answer this question. It says, consider the following statements about Roche limit. It says it is the distance beyond which celestial rings generally do not exist. Okay, this is the thing. Okay, So let's say like this is one of the body. I had given you an example. Okay, one of the body means let's say a planet, let's say a moon, right? If it has a ring, right? Beyond Roche limit, it is expected that it does not have any ring. Like, so ring exists within the Roche limit also. Beyond Roche limit, they should coalesce. Okay, so it is the distance beyond which the celestial rings generally do not exist. This is a right statement. Second, within the Roche limit, orbital material will tend to coalesce and form the rings. Okay. This statement is incorrect, right? So like within the Roche limit they can form rings, but like they will not coalesce. They will not form a singular mass. Okay, they will not coalesce. Third, all known planetary rings are located within their Roche limit. This is also incorrect, because like recently they have identified one specific planet where the planetary rings are seen outside the Roche limit also. Okay, the first and third may seem to be contradictory, but first is a generalistic statement that says generally do not exist, but like in this specific case they have identified that like in one of the planet rings have been identified to be existing outside the Roche limit also. Okay, so with this like we will see. You can go through, the news item, you can go through the explanation to understand what is Roche limit. Okay, so the discussion that I had, like it may be little difficult for some of you to understand if you are not from scientific background. People like who are science students who have studied, let's say, physics up to 12th standard and beyond, so they'll be able to understand it easily. Okay, other people may find it difficult, but like you can understand about Roche limit. This is an important topic. With this, like we will take another question. It says, in the context of shale gas, consider the following statements. Okay, shale gas, you might be knowing shale gas. What is shale gas? Like the gas that we extract from the shale. Shale is a kind of like a stone, right, that we extract from like rocks. Okay, basically. So shales are fine grained sedimentary rocks. This is right. Guar gum is used in the extraction of shale gas. This is also right. What is guar gum? Guar gum is a kind of material. When it is added to the water, then the viscosity of water increases. Okay, what happens like when we add guar gum with water? So the viscosity of water increases. What do we mean by viscosity? The water becomes thick. Okay, you might be knowing gel. Okay, so gel, like we use gel for multiple purposes, as a lip balm also. So gel is a liquid product. It's semi-solid product. It's not solid, it's not liquid, but like it's semi-solid product. So gel is thick. Like water is like water does not have its own shape. It starts flowing, but like gel does not flow. Like it has viscosity, so little thicker. Okay, water, like when it is added to guar gum, it becomes little thicker. And like guar gum is used in the extraction of shale gas, because like for extraction of shale gas we have to, let's say like there is big rock, we have to create some holes in the rock. So for that purpose, like like we increase the viscosity, then we do blasting also. For that activities it is used. So guar gum is a useful material for extraction of shale gas. Okay, third, large quantity of water is required in the extraction of shale gas. This is like understood, like water is needed, because like there are multiple methods of extraction of shale gas. We do have vertical drilling, we have horizontal drilling as well, right? Like there are multiple processes associated with extraction of shale gas. So generally water is needed. Large quantity of water, millions of gallons of water are needed for extraction of shale gas. So all the three statements given above are correct. So option C will be the right answer in this case. Alright, option C. Right, so you can read the news item that is there, and also you can go through the explanation about shale gas. Okay, so they have defined what is shale gas. They have also like talked about hydraulic fracturing, and hydraulic fracturing is one of the like methods of extraction of shale gas. Then like we have horizontal drilling, okay, so that's also a method. So initially we do vertical drilling, like we create holes. After going certain distance, then we start doing horizontal drilling, okay. So that is known as like this method is known as horizontal drilling. Then we have hydraulic fracturing. So in hydraulic fracturing we use like large amount of water, okay. It depends like from area to area where which technique will be more beneficial or more feasible, okay. So they have also mentioned about usage of guar gum also, okay. And so like you will understand about global distribution of shale gas like in this explanation, okay. With this, like we will take another question for discussion. This is also an important question. It says, consider the following statements with respect to rural to urban migration in the cities of developing countries, okay. Rural to urban migration, why people migrate, why people move from rural areas to urban areas, generally in search of job, or let's say in search of employment, right. People do migrate from rural to urban areas generally in search of employment, or like if in case like some marriage happens, let's say a rural woman gets married to a man like who is staying in cities, so that's also a reason. But like we are talking about economic thing, we are talking about like consider the following. So like we are talking about economic geography. If you this topic is associated with economic geography, okay. So like we will discuss about like migration, like why people migrate from rural areas to urban areas, right. So lack of employment opportunities acts as a pull factor for rural to urban migration, okay. Basically, let's say this is a rural area and this is an urban area. Generally in urban areas there are more chances of getting an employment in some of the roles, right. So people move from rural area to urban area. Why they move from rural area to urban area? Because in rural area they have lack of opportunities, okay, lack of opportunities. So there is a push factor, okay. If people move from this place to like rural place to urban place, so there is a push factor from the rural area. There can be multiple push factors, right. I mean like geographical thing may be there, like there are no avenue for growing good commercial let's say agriculture. So so it is not called pull factor, it is called push factor. So that's why statement 1 is incorrect. If we talk about second statement, it says unregulated migration results in illegal settlements, okay, illegal settlements in slums in urban areas. This is also right, this is correct. It says unregulated migration, like when people migrate from one area to another area, if it is not regulated, so it leads to illegal settlements and slums in urban areas. That is right, okay. So what is the right answer in this question? Right answer will be option B, which is statement 2 is only right, okay, 1 is not right. So that's the thing. Recently it was in news because like one of the politician, Firoz Varun Gandhi, right, the author, Indian Metropolis. So like he in an interview he has mentioned about like this particular thing, and he has written a book also on this topic, okay. So that's why like this topic becomes important. With this, like we will talk about another question. This is question number 9, okay. So we are about to finish the discussion. Question number 9. It says consider the following pairs. On one side they have given the names of some of the ports in India, right. Mostly these ports are major ports, some of the ports may be minor also. You might be knowing we have 12 major ports in India and we have about 200 minor ports in India. Ports means natural harbor, like where I mean like shipping activity happens, like during like if you want to do export import businesses in let's say goods. So generally like things go through the port, okay. So so that's why ports are there. Ports characteristics: Kandla port, it is a tidal port. Tuticorin natural harbor. Kolkata inland riverine port. Then we have Vishakhapatnam, deepest landlocked port. So these are features of these ports. Like they are asking which of the pairs given above are correctly matched. Okay, all these pairs are correctly matched. Okay, you can go through it like in your free time. We have like mentioned the details in the explanation also, right? All these ports that are mentioned, right, they are correctly matched over here. Okay, so why it is in news, like why we have asked a question from ports? Because Indian Oil Corporation is a public sector undertaking, is a PSU company, right, that does business related to, let's say, oil and gas, right? So Indian Oil Corporation contradicts Adani over terms of port use agreement for LPG imports. Okay, so like they recently had some kind of controversy, some dispute related to like how the ports will be used, right? So Indian Oil Corporation has put something on their Twitter handle, Twitter account, to clarify some of the things related to ports. So that's why it was in news. So that's why like we have discussed about port related question. This is going to be the last question for the day, question number 10. All right, question number 10. So it says, consider the following statements regarding Vibrant Village Program Scheme. Okay, Vibrant Village Program Scheme. So like before we solve this question, right, we need to understand what is this scheme all about, right? What is the motto of the government? You might be knowing like we have many villages in the border areas in the country, right? Many villages in the border areas. So like villagers, the people residing in these villages face a lot of difficulty. Why? Because of the border areas, like lot of, let's say, trade activities does not happen over there. There are security challenges, like people are afraid of like any time of gunfire, shelling, etc. in those areas. And like the people who reside in the hinterland, let's say like who reside in the mainland India, they do not prefer to go to the bordering places for doing trade and all. So people residing in the villages of border areas, they have a tendency of migration. They have a tendency of going to, let's say, some other places to do their business, to run their family and all. Okay, so like there are multiple other challenges associated with them. So what was the solution? The government of India has come up with one solution. Okay, this particular solution, they have come through this particular scheme, which is Vibrant Village Program Scheme. So through this scheme, the government of India will give a special focus, a special emphasis in doing development of those areas that are, let's say, bordering villages, like in the northern borders of India. Northern means like in the northern portion of India, we have like many states and like we have many villages over there. So we want to make those villages prosper enough so that like these people do not think of, let's say, like out migrating from their native places. All right, how the government of India wants to build like social infrastructure over there. They want to build let's say roads. They want to create channels for communication. They want to provide electricity, right, to these areas. Okay, so developmental activity will be done in the bordering villages in India, in the northern area. Okay, for that they have come up with this program, which is known as Vibrant Village Program Scheme. All right, so now with this information, let us try to answer this question. It says it comes under the Ministry of Rural Development. This statement is wrong because it comes under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay, it comes under this particular program. Okay, comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay, first statement is incorrect. Second statement, it aims to provide energy access to rural areas by electricity connection to all households, ensuring last mile connectivity. This is also incorrect. Generally, as a component of this program, they want to provide 24/7 electricity supply, but like there is no sure short thing that like they want to connect all household, ensuring last mile connectivity. That last mile connectivity thing is not there. Okay, basically like they want to provide electricity supply also, but being very extreme is not the case. Okay, it's not the case. Third, Vibrant Village Action Plans under this scheme will be created by district administration with the help of Gram Panchayat. This is right. Okay, the third statement is right. So in this question the correct answer is option C. Option C is the right answer in this question. Okay, so you can read this article from the Press Information Bureau. It was in Press Information Bureau. So like we will upload this PDF, and also like we have given our own explanation also. All right. So that's all. So with this, like we have discussed all the 10 questions. All questions came from different areas, from polity, from economy, from science and technology, from art and culture, right? So we have covered like many areas through the questions today. So if you have any question, if you want to ask something, you can like write your comment in the let's say comment section of the YouTube video, and also like you can join us live tomorrow, right? Whenever we are going to take discussion, and you can ask your question there. So that's all from my side today. Thank you so much everyone for attending the session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.